coming today to you from a customer's yard. I want to show you the issue we're dealing with because I feel like it's a pretty common issue this time of the year, and then show you kind of what we're going to do about it, and hopefully be able to help you maybe take care of your yard a little bit better, since these are fairly common issues. So let me flip my camera. You can see right out there we have quite a bit of dryness, probably at this point a little bit of dead grass in there, due from what I think is a poor irrigation system from this standpoint, but there are some things that we're going to do to try to improve that. It's probably not a terrible system. There's just a few things that obviously is leading to some dry spots. So the first issue we have going on, you can see this spray head right there. See how the water's coming out pretty quickly. There's nothing wrong with that nozzle, but when you have that style of nozzle also on a rotor zone, you're going to have different flow rates or precipitation rates coming out of the end of the nozzle. And so we need to get that to match, which she does have some of these nozzles, which is what we're going to put on this system, and those are called flotation nozzles, and they actually match the rate of water that the rotors put out. So that's a good thing. But she's got another one right there with the spray nozzle style, and one down the way back there. So we're going to get those fixed out, and then we're also going to get a little bit more clearance, because I'll show you an example. This nozzle, there's a few more that are worse, but it's sitting a little low. We'd like to get that taller out there. There's some sprinkler heads that are at all. So we're going to correct that, try to get the water to distribute a little bit better. We also, on this head right here, it's a rotor and it's not rotating. So that would make sense why we're not getting a good portion of our water into that area. And she's got another brown spot back there that also has 4 rotors that aren't same zone. So we're just going to change those out. So it'll be a lot of heads here to fix. But once we get all these changes made, we should see a lot more water in those areas. So going forward, we'll be able to overseed those spots this fall, get some new grass to come in with water that's actually hitting where it's supposed to, and next year have a nice green lawn all through, hopefully, the summer. So bear with us. We'll give you some more footage of the job as we go. But yeah, those are everybody nowadays has some brown spots in their yards. Due to the fact that it has just been so dang hot. So if you have those, check out your system, watch it, like sprinkler heads, rotors not rotating, spray heads not hitting where they should be. Go and stand in those dry spots and see if you get wet, see how much water is actually getting there. But look at your yard, it'll tell you what it needs. You can read it. Where it's green right now, it is doing well, and where it's not as green, you might have some deficiencies. So a good time to check those out. Okay, I started digging up this head and wanted to show you another common issue in regards to check valves. A lot of times the sprinkler head doesn't have a check valve inside, that water will bleed past depending on where it is in the elevation, your pipe and all that. So you can end up with wet spots in your yard, or you'll notice it along the curb. If your yard slopes down to a street level, a lot of times that water will just continue to bleed past the sprinkler heads well after it's been turned off, which is what we have. You can see that water just coming out. This is a Hunter Pro Spray, which is a pretty good head, but there's no check valve on it. It would say in white writing, check valve right along there. So the heads that we're going to be putting in have a check valve on it. When that zone turns off, that water stays in the line, helps you save money, as well as not having a bunch of puddles and wet spots in your yard when you don't really have a leak, but you kind of do. All right, so I got all the digging done. About 18 or 16 heads, 11 spray heads all along there, and then 4 rotors over in this area, 1, 2, 3, and one more down there. But thought I'd show you what we got going on. Ran into something that's also very common. That's a sprinkler head that plumbed directly into the end of the line. You can see there's no flexibility there. If something were to step on top of that, good chance that somewhere down in there would crack and break. So that needs to be addressed. How we're going to fix that is with this guy here. This is What we're going to go back with is the Hunter Pro Spray. It's got a gray top, meaning it's pressure regulated to 40 psi, which is what the mass precipitation nozzles are supposed to be operated at, is at 40 psi. And then we've attached it to some swing pipe here. So I'm going to take this elbow, unthread this sprinkler head, thread it into the end of that pipe, connect the end of the swing pipe to this barbed elbow, and we'll have flexibility to install this because it'll need to be a bit deeper than where this is at, so we've got to go down with it. And then with this pipe, if there is any pressure on top of here from a mower or whatever it may be, it's got some room to move and adjust the ground, so you don't end up breaking anything and having any other problems. But so this is the first head that we're going to do. It's removing a Weathermatic 4-inch pop-ups spray, and we're going to put a 6-inch. That way we get 2 more inches of clearance, so we're getting over the grass as you try to let it get a little bit taller through the summer, with a better nozzle, so we get better coverage. So I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all finished. Okay, so we've got all the digging done. All of our materials have been swapped out, so we got all the old taken off and all the new put in. I'll go ahead and with this swing pipe. So we threaded our elbow into where the irrigation line comes up. Flex pipe swings around, swing pipe goes into the bottom of our sprinkler head, and then we'll be able to set this at the correct grade. So got all the heads left to do. I'm going to go ahead and then we will show you what it looks like once it's running. Alright, so everything is all wrapped up. We've got our heads installed. Everything's adjusted. I'll get a little closer, but that head is well above some very tall grass all the way down the line. Might be a little challenging to see, but all of our heads are spraying exactly how. I'm not going to show you every head on this system that we put in, but just doing those simple things like getting new heads that are throwing the water out correctly, not too far down in the ground. A lot of times those sprinkler heads are hardly even clearing the grass, so the grass is impeding on the spray pattern of the water, and you end up with a lot of dry spots. The other thing we checked out were we had 4 rotors that weren't rotating, which anytime you have that, you're going to end up with dry spots. So keeping an eye on those. Bear in mind, sprinklers a lot of times are running before anybody's awake, so you're not always watching these to be able to catch any mistakes that you might have in your system that need to get fixed. But if you just take 5-10 minutes once a week, check it out. If you have dry spots, which is fairly common all over the place, but when there's lush green grass all around it in a dry spot, that's generally pretty big with your watering. And lo and behold, here we got it fixed, and she should be much happier going forward with much greener grass. All right, if you got any questions, reach out. Thanks.